Pardon?
Is formal education, what role does it have in Islam?
What is the role of formal education in Islam? Secular education?
Islam emphasizes education as such, and it obviously believes in the spiritual education primarily. But the spiritual education is not that which you read in madrasas. Spiritual education is like something different altogether, because otherwise Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was to teach the whole world, he would be himself an unlettered person, illiterate. How could he teach the whole world the spiritual education? So by the spiritual education, primarily it is meant that you should be able to understand the Quran in depth. Study the Quran, not just to read it like in madrasas they do, and not just as trying to know the formal translation, but you should stop and pause and try to delve deeper and deeper and deeper, so that whenever you read the Quran, you should be after some new meaning which had escaped your notice before. And if you learn the Quran with this attitude, it is impossible for you to complete the exercise in all your life. You see, even today, while I recite at least one para daily, and during the Ramadan many times over, but I come across some verses so often which I notice as though I had read for the first time, because I notice it in the light of a new meaning which emerges from the previous verses. And when you reach this, suddenly you say, wow, what's this? So that pursuit for deeper meaning can never end. Not if you are given a million lives. Always you will discover something new and new and new. Even if you consider one verse of the Quran in depth, you can never exhaust it. Rabbul Alameen. Now, can you realize what it means? It means God has provided for every creature or every form of creation, not only the living ones, but the dead forms as well. Now, can you claim, or can all the scientific knowledge gained so far claim that they know the forms of provisions created by God to maintain this ecosystem in the whole world? All the insects, all the big animals, and billions of them exist underwater. How they are provided? And the sources never end. So if you spend your lifetime in considering one part of the Holy Quran, Rabbul Alameen, you will not be able to exhaust it. So it's not just a tall claim I'm making. I'm making a small claim of what should be a very tall claim. So in this sense, the Quran should be read, and this is the first form of knowledge, spiritual knowledge. Not the mullah's knowledge, but this is the knowledge which was given to us by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the second is the knowledge of all types, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has mentioned it in a manner that it cannot be interpreted to be this knowledge I'm talking about. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam once said, go to China in the pursuit of knowledge if you have to go to China. The source of knowledge was in Medina. Why should people go to China? That means from Mecca to Medina to China, all through there was spread out knowledge, the so-called secular knowledge, the worldly knowledge, the geography, the form of people, their social systems and their sciences, etc., until you reach China, which was the farthest point from there. So, pursuit of knowledge, of secular knowledge, is also an injunction of Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nobody can put words into his mouth. This is what he said himself. So that is the second form of knowledge. All forms of knowledge, taught at the schools, at the universities of all over the world, whether philosophy or psychology or politics or whatever you call it, or science, branches of science, they're all covered by this injunction of Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Pursue all knowledge. Right? Thank you. You repented having asked a question. It was very briefly dispatched by me. So this time, ask a question which requires a bit larger answer. Yes.